Hey guys, welcome back to Pak Chat. Hey everyone. There, let's wait for Ishaan to request. Send request.
Hey,
There he is. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I guess we could get started. So I guess I'll
This
start
is
with an
weird.
overview. I
This is
know
weird.
the roles have switched.
I'm on the other
Now we're
side here.
doing
Last
you.
time I interviewed you, man, this is weird.
I know. Okay, so Ishan started playing in 13U. He collected some medals throughout the way, then did a little bit of Team Ontario in 16U, and is now attending Brock University and playing volleyball there as a libero. So I guess we can just start out with 13U.
Yeah,
So that was the first year how you started playing. So I guess you can start with telling us how you started playing and why you chose Pac-Man.
I guess starting volleyball, I guess I kind of went to 13 year trials as a joke. I played school volleyball in grade six and kind of like, you know what, volleyball's kind of fun. I'm gonna give it a try. And I ended up going to trials and I ended up making it. In terms of Pac-Man, Pac-Man was kind of the only club in the area, so
Yeah,
that was a pretty easy choice, and I knew the club had a really good reputation.
yeah, for sure. And so your 13U year, you were playing basketball, rep basketball during that year,
Yeah,
and you guys actually ended up winning provincial bronze, but you actually broke your arm before that and didn't play.
yeah.
So I guess you could tell me a little bit about that and your experience with Tom Wesley, which was your first rep coach.
Yeah, so I think 13 missing provincials was really hard. Part of that was because when you walk into Rim Park and you know this feeling, and I'm sure everyone else watching
Yeah,
knows, it radiates energy, right? The
yeah,
moment you're there,
100%.
like you're ready to play, right? It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
You feel like you don't need a warm. You're just good to hop on the court. And I think me walking to that Rim Park gym was tough, and especially being a 13-year-old kid. I remember
yeah.
I tried to convince my mom on the last day to let me take my cast off and play.
Really?
Um, that didn't go well, but like it was like I wanted to that badly. But
Yeah.
Tom introduced me to the sport. He was my first ever volleyball coach.
Mhm.
Tom was phenomenal. Tom taught me so many things about the game, and to this day we still talk every once in a while and just talk about the game and maybe struggles that I'm having as a player.
Yeah. Yeah, I can only imagine going into Rim and not being able to play.
For sure, it was frustrating.
Um, so
Nuts.
then 14 you got positioned, so you were in middle of this, and you guys actually you came first in for provincials, and Nats. This was your first experience at Nats, and you actually lost in quarters. What was that like for you?
Man, so 14U, Tom told me I was going to be playing middle at tryouts. And I remember I hated it. Like, I absolutely hated it.
I
So
hear you.
probably about the first 3, 4 months. And Tom was like, don't worry. Once we start getting quicks in, right, you'll start to do it. Because at the time, we were just running high ball meter balls.
Yeah, meatballs.
So it was nice to just get going, right, and start moving with that. Winning 14U, honestly, still probably one of the best sports moments I've ever had.
Hmm.
Being able to win a provincial medal, and you know this as well, right, is one of the
Yeah,
best
there's
feelings,
no better feeling.
especially when you've worked hard all year with your teammates, right? And they're
Hmm.
guys that you spend 3 days a week with.
Yeah, literally become your family.
So that was phenomenal. That moment will always stick with me. Um,
Yeah,
but oh, thank you, Tom.
great medal.
Um, but nationals was interesting. That was, I think, the first time I ever lost like a tournament, and actually
Hmm.
felt like anger. I was angry at myself. I was
Hmm.
upset with my teammates. I was upset with the situation just because, like, fortunately, we thought we were winning, right? And it's kind of
Yeah,
like we kind of had the mindset of we're invincible. We won provincials. There's no way we're losing nationals.
yeah,
Losing the quarters was frustrating, I think. And that was really the first time I ever felt angry about losing.
yeah, and no worse place than in quarters,
No, definitely not.
especially nationals.
And the crazy part was about that game was we had all the quarterfinals going on at once, but ours had gone to a third set. So every other
Oh,
team our age group was around that court, and everyone was
yeah.
cheering for Forest City actually. So
Yeah.
every time they got a point, like that gym was loud. There was easily probably about 150, 200 people watching that game.
That's crazy for
It
a
was quite
quarter.
it was an amazing experience.
Yeah. So then in 15U, you guys came back and you guys won Provs and Nats.
Yeah.
So that was a good comeback. And then so that was a two-peat for Provs, so that was a repeat.
Yeah.
And so was there any pressure going into provincials knowing you guys were defending champions?
Yes and no. I think yes, just because when you've won the year before, right, you're expected to be a favorite the year after. But
Yeah.
no, in some senses, just because there was a lot of injuries that happened in 15U. 15U, I
Okay.
think Owen Jacobs broke his arm, and then one of our other
Mm,
teammates, Justin Lee, sprained his ankle. And I'm trying to
yeah.
think if there was anything else, but I don't think so. So there was like our team had faced a lot of adversity going into that kind of provincial final. So for us, it was like, you know what? We're shorthanded. We're just going to try to play our best volleyball
Yeah.
and hope we can do well from there. Um,
Yeah.
and Alex, Sile, and Deem did a phenomenal job. They brought a lot of older guys in to come play with us. Sile, who
Yeah.
used to play, also used to practice against us, and that got us really ready. These guys weren't trying to take it easy on us; they were trying to score on every ball they hit,
Mm.
and I think that ended up benefiting us going into provincials and nationals.
Yeah. And what do you think was like the what made you different from everyone else? What do you think made your team win and was the best quality?
I think some of it was just us all being good friends. Like our
Yeah.
15 team was pretty close. Before practice, we'd all get there about 10, 15 minutes early, and we'd just be sitting there stretching, warming up, and just sitting there talking, right? Catching up
Yeah.
about volleyball, school, personal. I think we were all really close, and at the end of the day, I knew that I could look at any one of my teammates and know that they had my back, and they knew that I had their back.
Yeah. And that's the best way to have it.
For sure, yeah.
Okay, and then 16 you were a medal and you guys became provincial silver and national bronze.
Mhm.
And you were actually helping coach once a week for 13 years. So this is kind of your first
Yeah.
glimpse into coaching. And so this would have been a three-peat for you guys. So what was your mindset going into provs and I guess your mindset after provs?
I think everyone on my team kind of felt that pressure that we needed to
Yeah,
win the third year in a row. And it was actually
100%.
ironic that Saturday night we had played the Mavs, who we played
Hmm.
in provincial finals the year before. We
Yeah,
played power pools and we beat them, I think, 16-14 in the third. And we were happy, right? We're like, this is great. Like we beat the team that was ranked number one coming into provincials. It's going to be good. And we played our quarters and semis and we rolled through the two teams that we played.
yeah,
In the finals, we got matched up with Ottawa, and I mean, we didn't play our best, but they played a really
yeah,
clean game and a really good game.
yeah.
But
And
then,
then, sorry, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, moving on to nationals, everyone spends time on YouTube, right, watching teams from out west. We
Yeah,
watched a lot of Fog play, just because they had won. They had won a lot of. They had won I think they won national. They won West Nationals the year before.
yeah,
So we were watching videos on them, and first day we walk into, where was it? It was in Edmonton. We walk into the facility in Edmonton, and we see them practicing, and we're like, okay, so this is like our main competition. I remember looking
yeah,
at these guys, and these guys are all like 6'4", 6'5", 6'7", and
yeah.
I'm standing there at 6'1" playing middle. I'm like, what am I
Oh
gonna do?
God.
Like, what am I gonna do against these guys?
Yeah.
But we ended up playing them in the semis of that nationals, and we had a really good game. We lost them 25-23, I think 32-30,
Oh, wow.
something like that. But
That's
that was
crazy.
another experience as well.
Damn. So then that summer was your first glimpse of Timo.
Yeah.
So you put yourself down as a lib when all season, all year you're playing middle. So what was your like mindset going into that tryout and why lib, I guess?
I think for me it was looking at my size in relation to everyone else, and I was like, I don't think I'm big enough to be a middle. I hadn't played enough left side to feel like I was able to compete. And I figured just because I passed my whole life, I've always passed in the back row. My coaches have
Yeah,
always made sure I developed like a passing skill.
yeah,
I figured, you know what, I'll sign up as a lib, right? They'll still see me pass, and we'll just hope that I'm able to get selected and then figure out the camp from there.
And I see you were always a strong passer, no matter what position.
Oh, I see that. Yeah, thank you, Tom.
And what did you do to prepare for that tryout?
Preparation was nuts. I was in the gym with Reed at the Athlete Matrix probably about 5 days a week leading into that tryout. And then every day, Monday to Friday, Alex would actually do a private with me in the David Leader gym.
Okay.
So Alex, if you're watching this, thank you, because that helped me a lot. But just in the gym, he would serve probably about like hundreds of balls a day at me.
Yeah, just getting those reps.
Just getting reps, right? Trying to make sure my passing and my defense, my setting is all kind of like on par to where it needs to be, right? Compared to other guys that are maybe trying out for the position.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, Alex's training has helped me become like the player I am today. Developmentally, I think Alex is probably one of the best coaches I've ever had.
Yeah, 100%. He'll grill you, but he's a good coach. And would you have any advice for any other athletes who are like changing positions, maybe watching?
Honestly, just if you're gonna do it, really buy into it, right? Spend your time watching film, understand the position, understand the game, just understand volleyball, right? The best thing you can do is study the game and understand what your role is on the team and figuring out what your job is game in, game out.
Yeah, 100%. And then 17U, you were now a full-time lib, and you guys actually lost in provincials and quarters. And this was you were assistant coaching 12U boys with Jesse, so now you're like working your way up on the coaching.
Yeah.
How was the coaching, and what was it like with Jesse? Because Jesse's kind of a bit of a legend in Pac-Man.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
Man, I remember walking to tryouts. Originally, it was Jesse was going to coach 12U boys, and I was actually going to head coach 11U boys that year.
Okay.
But what ended up happening was there wasn't enough kids to make like an 11U team.
Yeah.
Just like, I'm going to coach this team, right? If you want to be part of the coaching staff, I'd love that. And it was honestly an amazing experience. Coaching, for me, I can say made me a better volleyball player. Just even working with younger kids, right? Teaching them how to bump and then realizing, I don't do that anymore, right?
Yeah.
Kind of brings you back to basics in a way. But learning from Jesse was an awesome experience. He's like a class act as a coach. Technically, he knows what he's talking about. I've learned so much from him just over that 1 year coaching.
Yeah, for sure. And then that next year, you actually got the opportunity to head coach 12U.
Yeah.
So that was a much bigger role. How was that for you?
And 12U, coaching those kids was awesome. It was, again, right, I learned so much about myself as a player, but I also started to kind of get an identity for myself as a coach.
Yeah.
One thing I really liked about the kids was every day, right, they would walk in and they might have a really bad day, but they're walking with a smile on their face and they work hard. And it was interesting because I would have 12U practices, and then right after that I had my 18U practices. So
you're like running.
So I'm running around, right, with these guys, and I'm like I'm filling in, right, if they need one more to play, right, just 6-on-6 gameplay. And it was good, though. I think seeing those kids work hard, right, and knowing that they were coming from a long, tiring day of school and seeing them work hard almost motivated me in some ways to work hard at my 18U practices right after.
Yeah. And that year you actually only had 3 vets on your team. So was there like a big emphasis on culture, and was that like your job since there was only 3 of you?
So I saw Harjess was in here, so shout out to you, Harjess. And then Davis. So Harjess, Davis, and I were the only 3 that played from 13U until 18U. I think year in, year out, we'd get new guys every year, but 18U was a real big difference because we had gotten some guys that had been playing with their clubs for quite some time. Yeah,
I remember people were talking about it, all the new people who came 18 Pac-Man.
And it was hard. It was hard in some ways at the beginning because I'm looking over at one guy and I'm like, I know you, but I don't know you very well.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of it was just getting to know the guys, and Jesse and Dave did an awesome job, like giving us time to talk at practice, right? Even like practice when we're in a huddle and we're talking about what we're going to do at practice today, like making jokes, right? Really stringing everything along. I think in terms of buying into the culture side, I don't think it was really us that did anything. I think Jesse and Dave did a phenomenal job really kind of instilling that into everyone's minds.
Yeah, what you had to, because 18U usually that team's like been made since 16U, so it's a lot for one
Yeah,
year.
exactly. Yeah.
So Jesse explained to me that you were very committed, first and last guy in the gym, a vocal leader. How did these traits contribute to your success in sport?
You know what? I picked up a lot of that from my mom. My mom raised me as a
Yeah.
single mother my whole life. And so I've seen her day in, day out work on like work hard, right? Long
Yeah.
hours, but always there, right, for other people.
Yeah.
And I think a part of that is me wanting to give back to my teammates because when I walk in the gym and I see my teammates, I'm happy to see them, right?
Yeah.
They make my day. And that's something my mom's always done. So I think a lot of that is a credit to her.
100%. And you actually played with Davis throughout your whole club career, so 13U to 18U. Like, what was your relationship like? And are you guys still friends today?
Oh man! So when Davis and I first started playing 13, we were good friends, and part of that was because we spent a lot of time together. Right? We're
Yeah.
driving to tournaments every weekend. We're seeing each other 4 days a week.
Hmm.
Um, I think my relationship with Davis was a healthy athletic relationship, and part of that was because we would argue at practice, and some of my teammates know that, right? But at the end of the day, a lot of it was just to push one another, right? And just because we
Yeah.
both wanted what's right for the team. And a funny story actually is 17U. I remember the practice before provincials. Davis and I got in a little disagreement at practice.
Yeah.
And Dean pulled Davis and I aside before our first game on the Friday. We practiced on the Thursday and then we played on Friday.
Yeah.
Dean said, "Are you guys going to be okay?" And him and I kind of both looked at each other and smiled and said, "We both just want to win." Right? And I think
Yeah.
that about sums up our relationship. I still talk to him to this day. We catch up here and there.
Yeah.
No, honestly, one of my favorite players I've ever played with.
Yeah. He's really talented. So right now you're at Brock. So I guess how did Pac-Man prepare you for post-secondary, and how is your transition from OVA to Brock?
Mm-hmm.
Although you're kind of playing.
You know what? Skill set wise, the club sent me as ready as I could be
Hmm.
for club volleyball. Whether during HNU we had guys like I think I saw Jackson Young in here. Jackson came to a couple practices, and then we were supposed to have other guys, right? But obviously that got changed
Yeah.
with COVID and stuff. But just getting us prepared, skill wise, mentally, and always just putting an emphasis that you're physically in shape as well,
Yeah.
right? We've always been told how big of a difference it is physically from university to club, right? That
Hmm.
gap. I think the club did an amazing job just keeping us prepared, keeping us ready. It was actually nice this summer. We had a little bit of gym time, so we were able to get a bunch of guys who play university and varsity and stuff, just to get some games in. And that was my first real introduction to university volleyball, and it was nice to be with guys who were a part of the club, right, and are now succeeding in OUA volleyball.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And why did you actually choose Brock? What was your deciding factor?
Matt. Matt's our head coach. He was actually my TMO coach, assistant
Hmm.
coach in 16U. And
Yeah.
one thing I really liked about Matt was he always believed in me, and that was one thing I really appreciated from the 16U TMO tryout. Um, Matt was Matt was always there to talk to me before games, right? Help me develop.
Yeah.
And honestly, I came on my visit here, and I think it was supposed to be the first day of school for grade 12. And then I went. I came here for my visit, and the guys were awesome. They were warm. They were like, "Yeah, next
Yeah.
year we're gonna have a lot of fun." And I was like, "I haven't said I'm coming." They're like, "Yeah, next year we're gonna have a lot of fun." Right? So the guys were awesome. They've been so welcoming. Even being
Yeah.
here now, I can pick up my phone and call any of them and ask them for advice, ask them for something, and I know any of them will do it for me
Yeah. So it felt like home right away.
for sure. Yeah.
And so you're still involved with Pac-Man now. So how is like Pac-Man a family for you, and how you like just about that part?
Pac-Man's it's I don't know how to explain it. You know what? It gives me goosebumps thinking about
I hear you.
how family oriented the club is, right?
Yeah.
Kelly, Jesse, all the different coaches have done an amazing job really making sure that there really is a family aspect in the club. I'm
Hmm.
not sure how they do it because it's one of the few things that separates Packman from other clubs, right?
Yeah.
Is
100%.
that family aspect, and at the end of the day, Kelly and Jesse can't give up a secret, right? That is important, but the club's been amazing. Like even you and I, right? I think you and I met coaching together.
Yeah, I think so actually.
The club just does a really good job getting people to come together and just gaining overall relationships throughout all the club players and within the club. And there you go.
Yeah.
There, that it's a Pac-Man secret
Yeah, you can seriously walk into any gym and it feels like you're home and you're a part of a family.
for sure.
And so do you have any advice for any younger athletes watching?
Oh man, you know what? You're gonna face adversity in your club career. Just keep pushing through it and try to see everything from a positive outlook. And if you want to be good at the game, right, take some time to study it, understand it, and learn where you can improve.
Yeah, that's facts. And what is your goals for the future? Long term, short term, whichever.
I think my first and foremost goal is to win an OUA championship here at Brock. Guys have made that very clear that that's a goal that they want, and that's something that I want as well. After that, I'm not too sure. I think I'm not too sure. I mean, I'm only in first year, right? I'm enjoying my program now. Just slowly figuring things out day by day, but definitely winning an OUA championship.
Yeah, I'm rooting for you.
Thank you.
Well, that is all for today.
Perfect.
Thank you for coming on,
Yeah,
even though this
having
isn't
me
really
on.
your first time.
No, it's all good. No, thank you. This is awesome.
So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys all have a good day and see you guys next time.
Thanks, everyone. Hi, Mom.